Good day, everyone. Welcome to our remedial instruction in English class. For week 7, we are your discussants. I am Alcantara Andrea B.
And I am Mansueto Irish M.
And we are going to discuss correcting basic reading subskills deficit, vocabulary. And here are our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students must be able to define vocabulary, discuss the importance of vocabulary in understanding text, and explain how vocabulary develop other language skills. Hi everyone, I am Alcantara Andrea B. to discuss the first part of our lesson. Now, imagine a world without words. What would the world be like? What would there be? There would be misunderstanding, chaos, no social interaction, unorganized society, no global peace and harmony, and isolation. Now, how important words are to you? Words are a very powerful tool in communicating our ideas and feelings to other people. It helps us to be understood by other people and we in turn understand others. It is only then fitting that we should know the words we use in order to properly communicate our thoughts without being misunderstood and eventually become effective communicators. The sets of words that we understand through reading and listening and the sets of words we use through speaking and writing constitute our vocabulary. The words that we do not use through speaking and writing are not part of our vocabulary. This means that if we know and use only a few words, it will be quite difficult for us to communicate what is inside our mind, and this is quite frustrating. To avoid this, we need to improve and expand our vocabulary through reading. A good vocabulary and good reading go hand in hand. Unless we know the meaning of words, we will have difficulty in understanding what is read. And the more we read more words, we will add them to our vocabulary. Now let us read the definition of vocabulary. It is defined as a set of words used in a language book, content area, or by an author and words known to an individual according to Gunning 2003, McKeown and Curtis 1987. And according to the Oxford Dictionary, it is the body of words used in a particular language. And according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it is the sum or stock of words employed by a language, group, or individual or work in a field of knowledge. The terms we must understand in order to communicate successfully are referred to as our vocabulary. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are the 4 types of language that educators often consider. The words we need to know to understand what we hear are referred to as listening vocabulary. The words we use when we speak make up our speaking vocabulary. The words we need to know to understand what we read are referred to as reading vocabulary. And the words we employ in writing make up our writing vocabulary. The vocabulary is the key to reading comprehension. Readers cannot comprehend what they are reading unless they understand the meaning of the majority of the words. As children learn to read more advanced texts, they must learn the meaning of new words that are not part of their oral vocabulary. Now, here is a sample sentence to test our vocabulary skills. A single lexical item has many concepts attached to it and therefore can be conjugated further as to their focus. Did you understand the sentence? Why do you think you are able to understand the sentence? What about if you don't? Why do you think you are having difficulty understanding it? A reader who knows the meaning of lexical item, concepts, conjugated will most likely to be able to understand the sentence. But a reader who does not know these words will most likely to have difficulty understanding it. And that leads to the importance of vocabulary in understanding text. The first one, vocabulary plays a fundamental role in the reading process and contributes greatly to a reader's comprehension. It stands to a reason and research that vocabulary is important for reading to learn as well as learning to read. For understanding of the text, students need to be familiarized with the meaning of at least 95% of the words in any book or passage they read. The second one, a reader cannot understand a text without knowing what most of the words mean. So it simply says that there is a strong relationship between vocabulary knowledge and reading comprehension. Students need to understand the meaning of critical words they will be reading to promote comprehension. Vocabulary knowledge along with background knowledge provides students a better chance of understanding the text that they read. And the third one, students learn the meanings of the most words indirectly through everyday experiences with oral and written language. So young children learn word meanings through conversations with other people, especially adults. As they engage in these conversations, children often hear adults repeat words several times. So how can we say that vocabulary is the foundation of language? In a nutshell, vocabulary is important because it is the basis of all language. It is the raw building blocks that we can use to express our thoughts and ideas, share information, understand others, and grow personal relationships. So even if we barely know a language and have zero grasp of grammar, we can still communicate.
Good day everyone, I'm Irish Mansueto and I'm here to discuss a large language vocabulary helps develop other language skills. When you have a wider vocabulary in your target language, it also helps support all four language skills, which is reading, writing, listening, and speaking. As Paul Nation 2015 noted in his paper on vocabulary learning, vocabulary is not an end in itself. A rich vocabulary makes the skill of listening, speaking, reading, and writing easier to perform. And here are the four language skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. First is reading. Vocabulary knowledge is perhaps the most important factor when it comes to reading comprehension, both for native and non-native speakers. For example, if you sit down to read a book and you don't know the vocabulary used, you'll struggle to understand the meaning of the text. You might end up looking up the words in a dictionary, guessing the meaning of the words from their context, or you might simply give up and find something else to read. This can be disappointing, disheartening, and also shatter your confidence. Next is listening. We see similar evidence when it comes to listening skills for the language student for obvious reasons. Clearly, if you have never seen or heard a particular piece of vocabulary in a second language, it will be much harder to recognize and decode the sounds and therefore extract the meaning. If you're an advanced language learner, you may be able to make sense of the word through context or by relating it to other words in the same word family, but this can be difficult. Third is speaking. If you're a native speaker, you've probably experienced a time when a particular word is on the tip of your tongue, but you're unavailable to remember it. It can be frustrating and often cut the conversation short. It works in a similar way for a second language learner who hasn't learned that particular vocabulary word in the first place. If they don't know or can't remember that piece of vocabulary, they will be unavailable to completely express their message. For this reason, knowledge of vocabulary is widely considered to be perhaps the most crucial element when it comes to person's ability to speak a foreign language. And last is writing. You'll also find it much easier to express yourself in writing if you have a larger vocabulary. You'll have a large selection of words to choose from, and you'll be able to be more precise when you're expressing a thought, feeling, event, or idea. The more words you know in any language, the better you can express yourself. And now let us proceed to why does vocabulary matters. The first reason is it improves reading comprehension. Research has shown that kids need to understand 98% of words when they read to understand what they are reading. Improving vocabulary skills will improve their understanding of novels and textbooks. The reason is it's important to language development. Children who develop a rich vocabulary tend to be deeper thinkers, express themselves better, and read more. Improving language and literacy skills early in life will help them be more successful academically and communicatively. And for the third reason is communicating ideas. Successful communication or saying what you mean is dependent upon a good vocabulary base. Using the right words when talking makes you a more effective communicator. The fourth reason is expressing yourself in writing. Having a good vocabulary to draw from can help you write more effectively. Students need to use a more formal tone when writing, not conversational language. And to do that, they need a richer vocabulary to tap into those words we don't use when we speak. And the last reason is occupational success. Researcher John O'Connor found that a person's vocabulary level is the best single predictor of occupational success. Success in the business place depends on your communication skills.